What's up, Swolgers? Thank you for joining me on this video today, where we're going to talk about a concept that's going to help you reach new levels of success in strongman that you never thought were possible. This concept is detaching from your goals in order to reach them. Now, we all know somebody in our community that is absolutely obsessed with strongman. It's their whole personality, and they just don't perform very well. They don't lift very heavy, and they don't perform at competitions the way that they want to. Now, I don't want to talk negatively about anybody. That's not what this is about. But this is about how letting go of your desires and letting go of all the emotions that are tied up in this current identity that some people hold is actually the key to success. So when we're talking about detaching, this doesn't mean that we just forget about our goals. Actually, quite the opposite. We want to start this process of becoming a greater, more successful strongman by having a very clear, concise end target. We want to know exactly what we want to achieve. So in the world of strength, this could mean I want to deadlift 800 pounds. This could mean I want to be top 5 at nationals. This could also be I want to gain 10 pounds of lean muscle mass. When we start with a clear, concise goal, that's going to allow us to navigate exactly in the direction that we want to go. Now, one thing I want you to remember, you should always be calibrating on your processes and see if what you are doing is actually moving you in the direction that you want to go. It's no different than if you're driving to the town over and you know that this road takes you there, but you have to take a detour today. You just got to check your GPS, go about it a different way, and you'll still end up at your destination. But when we obsess over this goal, when we have all this emotional attachment to something, what this actually does is create resistance. Now, resistance comes in the form of really just pressure. You know, if you just obsess and put so much weight into these outcomes, then it's going to cause a negative reaction if you don't reach them. So the solution instead is to become the person that attracts these things. We don't want to chase, we want to attract. I've spent a lot of time listening to a lot of great thinkers and great minds talk about this concept, and I never really used to get it. It feels like a paradox in some ways. You know, what do you mean I have to let go of my desire to reach this goal if I want to reach it? You know, what do you mean I have to break free from this? Well, it's really just about embodying all the habits and the lifestyles of that person, like I just said, that attracts them. We want to step in to an existence where every action we take is guiding us to that end target. I just want you to think, if you were obsessed with being the best possible strongman, but you worked the graveyard shift, you only got 4 hours of sleep every day, you didn't make enough money to eat high quality foods that are fuel for your performance, you didn't train at a strongman gym that had all the implements that you needed to succeed, there's a whole lot going on there that is not working in your favor. So you have to start thinking about all of those elements that allow you to become this person. If you want to be the world's strongest man, you cannot train at LA Fitness. You can get very strong. You can move along very far in your journey, but you're never going to be able to log press 300, 350, etc. if you're only training with barbells. So when we have that end target in sight and we consider who that person is that attracts and embodies those goals, that's when we have to start making decisions about what does our life need to look like to be that person. Now, through those decisions, we have to instill habits. We have to give ourselves confidence in ourselves by just repeating action day over day over day. When we do anything, our brain just forms layers over itself over and over and over again. This is why it's hard to break a pattern or break a bad habit, is because you're just putting layer after layer after layer of that thing in your brain. But we can do that in a positive way. So think about how confident you would feel if today, 1 year from now, every single day you hit your macros. You stretched 3 times a week, every week for 52 weeks. You did every single strength training session to a T that you've been programmed, and you got 8 hours of sleep every single night. You would know to the deepest part of your soul that you are doing all of the things that you need to be this successful person. So that's naturally going to give you a level of confidence to show up and perform. Now, a lot of people deal with anxiety and nerves going into competition. I just had another video about this. If you want to go deeper into that topic, please check it out on my channel. But anxiety and these nerves often come from a place of somehow, somewhere, you know that you're not ready. If you have that target 1 year from now and you check every single box on the path, then you know you are showing up as your best self, and then you have nothing to lose. So what you should be understanding as I'm talking about this is that we're putting our energy and our focus into the actions and the steps and the daily disciplines and not that outcome. We want to always be calibrating and making sure that those actions and those disciplines are pushing us in the right direction. This is why we need to be clear and concise with our goals. Because if we want to gain 10 lean pounds of muscle mass and we're losing weight, we can measure and verify if what we're doing is working or not. If we want to deadlift 800 pounds, we know in hard numbers whether we are getting stronger or not. If you just say, I want to be bigger or I want to be stronger, there's some metrics that you could use to prove that, but there's no clear end target, right? So why detach? Why detach? We're taking the energy and the pressure out of the end and putting it into the here and the now. As I was talking about with anxiety, anxiety is something of you thinking in the future. What if this doesn't go wrong? What if I don't get what I want? It's important for you to understand that when you talk about things in terms of want, you're subconsciously implying lack. When you say, I want this, it's actually code for I don't have it. So instead, what can you have now? You can have the attitude of a winner. You can have the nutrition plan of a winner. You can have the training program of a winner. And when you continue to do those things over and over and over again, you attract wins. You attract successes. And often it comes a lot faster than you could ever think. In 2022, I personally was stuck, totally plateaued, and it was for this problem. I wanted so badly to be a better strongman. I wanted so badly to get my deadlift up, but I couldn't get this to move at all. I was just obsessed with this end target. But once I started to reflect on myself and what I was doing, I took a real hard audit of all the things that I was doing in my life, and I realized those things are not going to get me there. So once I put my energy into not only locking in my macros every day, but selecting higher quality food choices, this is when I started to drink raw milk, eat more organic foods, eat more vegetables, eat organ meats, hydrate. Then I started to get a shift up. Once I started to prioritize my sleep and my recovery, I started to level up once again. For a long time, for many, many years, I was smoking weed every single day. I came to a moment in time where I looked at myself face to face in the mirror and I knew this is not going to get you there. You are escaping this. If you want to be this champion, you have to decide right now that you are not going to do this anymore. So I cut it out. I decided all of this in about July of 2022. It was a very significant moment in my life. And as soon as I decided all of these things, I put my energy into my training, recovery, my daily disciplines, my sleep. I added 70 pounds to my deadlift in 6 months. Now, for frame of reference, it took me about 6 years to go from 600 to 630. And then when I flipped this switch, I added 70 pounds in 6 months. Then I took another look at myself and I said, you're not getting it done with your overhead pressing. If you want to be this champion, you cannot just continue thinking that you're going to do it all yourself, because what you're doing is not working. I could deadlift just as much as anybody else in my weight class and more than most of them. But if you're getting near the bottom of the barrel or zeroing on overheads, you're not going to make it. Everything I had tried was not working. Then I decided to hire a coach. I've been with that coach for just over 2 years now, and it's just absolutely exploded. My gains have taken off. I reached the top 10, the finals of the World's Strongest Man. But what I didn't realize at the time is this is another thing that allowed me to detach from my outcomes. I'm not thinking or putting energy into all the mental calculations, this and that, of what my workout and program is. I just get to show up and follow the GPS of the plan. That allows me to put my energy into other things that are going to boost that mobility, conditioning, right? What we're looking to do is just eliminate a lot of this mental clutter and just drive the path. We want to drive this path, again, with our daily habits and disciplines that allow us to build confidence so that when we show up to that stage, to that competition, we know we have been putting all the work in that is necessary to be at our highest and best self. Now, with this, even though competitions are hard dates, we cannot change the day of a competition. You also need to let go of having a finite time on some of these goals. You have to have faith. You have to have faith that wherever you are, you just are doing everything you can to improve, 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 improve. I guarantee you, let's say you want to win nationals. If you show up and you get 4th place at nationals and you miss podium by a half a point like I did, but you PR in every single event, you're not going to leave that competition thinking that you've lost. You're going to know and believe that you've won, and also even enrich your own confidence even more because you have proved that you are capable of getting better and getting stronger. Nick Canby, on one of our calls in the Strongman Club, said it best. He said, if you get second to last, but you PR everything, is that really a loss? No, it is not. So all of this talk is just about appreciating the journey and not the outcome. We have to love the process. And guess what? It's tough. It is hard. But also, it's simple. You know what you have to do it. You know that you have to get your sleep. You have to move and prepare to move in the right ways. You have to manage your stress as well as possible. And the big concept on all of this is send your energy in the right place to where it needs to go. So I really want you to think about all of these things and try to take steps back from that end goal. Zoom out a lot. Zoom out and think about how far you have come to this point. So many times we get so fixated on one specific little thing that we lose sight of just how far we have come. When we could think about how far we have come, hopefully by looking at all of those actions that can build confidence in you to know you can do better. When we look back at those, we should be able to kick back that confidence into gear. So sometimes things don't work out the way you want them to, and that's okay. But when we, once again, fall back on these habits, these disciplines, this self-belief that we are building in ourselves, none of these things are failures anymore. We don't lose anymore. We only learn. At Nationals, I made a pretty big mistake on the sandbag, but you know what? All good. I learned. I'm making sure that that's never happening again. I was very analytical with myself, and I understood what I needed to do in order to improve that for the next time. And I haven't made the mistake since, and I'm pretty dang confident that I'm not going to do it again. So we don't lose, we just learn. Now, a lot of this can be fueled and boosted by our internal attitude and mindset. So give yourself some positive self-talk, and I want you to catch yourself if you're thinking or saying negative things to and about yourself. If you ever say, I can't, cut that out. If you've ever trained with me or ever been around me, you are not allowed to say those words in my presence. If I'm coaching you, we do not say, I can't do this. I just had a DM with somebody about 2 hours ago who wanted to sign up for my competition. He says, when are the weights going to be posted? I want to make sure that I can do them before I sign up. And I told him, I said, look, don't set yourself up for an unsuccessful day by starting right out the gate saying, I can't do that. It's all about this mindset. Think in terms of I am. I am the person who does blank. I am strong because of these habits. I am a champion because of this. I am a winner because of this. So find those reasons to really, really boost this belief in yourself, because there are many things that are positive in your life when you really take the time to think about them that are going to instill this into your soul. Now, this is a constant battle because social media, the news, there's a lot of things in our society that is engineered to make you think less of yourself and make you live in a place of outrage and negativity. So you have to work hard to overcome that. This is where things like journaling, meditation, gratitude practices really come into play. We have to be doing things that make sure that we're clearing our mind so we can keep our focus on what's important so we can succeed. So when we boil this all down, think of detaching from that end goal and attaching to your daily habits and disciplines. To sum up a lot of what I've been saying over this video is put your energy where it needs to go. If you're going to be the world's strongest man, you have to start embodying that person right now. What does that mean? You probably need a coach. You need the right training equipment. You need to make sure your nutrition is locked in. I have a coach and a nutritionist. You need to do your conditioning. You need to do your mobility. You need to have a positive support system around you. Even if you're somebody that lives out in the boonies or you train in your garage alone, do you have a loving, supportive family? If you live totally alone, you don't have that. Can you find people online that are in your tribe that you can talk to and feel like you are a part of something to help boost you up and encourage you? You have to have it. So if you're one of these people that's just thinking, I'm a lone wolf, I can get this done. No man is an island. There is no I in strong man. To think that you would be the exception to that is absolutely foolish. So think about what you want. Identify it clearly. Write it down somewhere. And even to a point, put it somewhere where you can have that vision frequently. It could be the lock screen on your phone. I have a vision board over here. I see my vision board every day, but I don't obsess over it. I don't attach to it. I just use that as a reminder. This is my destination, and now I'm going to put myself behind the driver's seat to take all the stops, all the roads, all the detours, to do the maintenance, and pay attention while I'm driving in order to reach that end target. So don't waste your energy on the outcome. Spend all your energy in being the person that attracts these things. If this video was helpful, I'd really appreciate giving me a thumbs up, a like on this. Please subscribe to the channel to get more content on strongman and becoming your best self. And for that tribe, if you don't have it, if you're somebody that's out there training on your own, come join us inside the Strongman Club for a supportive community that's going to help you reach your goals and be your best, strongest self at clubstrongman.com. Feel free to drop any questions or comments down below. You can always reach out to me on Instagram at StephenMCoin. Thank you for watching. Have a championship day. Go get after it.